Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing another reacting to bOdY goals influencers in real life video. It's part of that series. I know you guys love that series and for good reason. It's nice to see behind the curtain sometimes and to realize that the people you think of as like superhuman or superior to you in some way are actually very, very similar to you in real life. Honestly, as a human being, it's nice to see that sometimes. So the influencers that we are going to be talking about today are Kendall Jenner and Dua Lipa. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking that Dua Lipa is a really random choice for this video because a lot of you probably think that she's more known for her music than her bOdY goals body. However, if you go on her Instagram, she has 87 million followers and she puts up obviously a lot of content of her music career, which you would expect, but she also puts up a lot of like influencer-esque pictures. Like in a lot of these pictures, I'm like, is that Emily Ratajkowski? Dua Lipa, honestly, she is so hot. Not only in physical appearance, but in her career, she is so successful. And due to the pictures that she puts up on her Instagram, Dua Lipa would be considered bOdY goals by a large majority of women and men. And so she is in today's video as well. However, before we get into today's video, this video is sponsored and I'm so grateful because these videos keep being demonetized and these videos take me the longest out of all my videos to make. So I really appreciate it when someone actually wants to sponsor me and work with me on my channel. So thank you so much to Kenzie for sponsoring today's video. Now you guys may already be familiar with Kenzie as a product because they are everywhere online, but basically what they are is they are an at-home hair removal IPL device. Now in my opinion, you don't have to remove your body hair if you don't want to, and I'm actually going to make a video all about body hair. A lot of women like to remove their body hair, a lot of women don't, and whatever your preference is perfectly fine. Like you do you. I remove some of my body hair and not other areas of body hair. I do, however, IPL my bikini line, and that's because I'm pretty much always in a bikini, especially now that I've moved back to Australia, and I just hate with a passion shaving my bikini line, or to be honest, shaving anywhere. I actually just really hate shaving. I don't know if you guys are similar to me or if I've just got really sensitive skin, but if I shave, especially my bikini line, it grows back so itchy, and that is where I use my Kenzie most often. So what I do, I have this trimmer and it trims your hair like pretty darn short, so you're not smooth. Like if you run your fingers along your skin, you will feel that there's hair there, but it trims it. And then I go in with my Kenzie. So this is an IPL device, and what it does is it actively targets the hair follicles. It blasts a burst of light at your hair follicle, and it essentially destroys that particular hair follicle so that either your hair won't grow back as thick or as often or as quick, and eventually it just won't grow back at all. And that is why so many people pay so much money for professional IPL hair removal. It's because they don't want to shave, they don't want to wax. Like waxing is sore, I've tried it. Shaving, you get the shaving rash, that's not pleasant either. IPL is not only completely painless, but it can also give you permanent hair removal results if that's what you're after. So yes, you could go to a professional and have professional IPL hair removal done. I personally chose not to do that for a few reasons. Number one, it's extremely expensive and it's an ongoing cost. Number two, because I want my bikini line done, I don't really want to be getting my foof out in front of a stranger. It makes me uncomfortable. I'd rather just be able to have my own IPL hair removal device that works just as well as what you get in a salon. You only pay for it once and then it's yours for life. And I can do it in the comfort of my own home, in the privacy of my own room, when I feel like it, when it suits me. So the way to use your Kenzie is you take it out of the box, you plug it into the wall, you turn it on at the on button here, and then you've got basically two options. You can press this big button here whenever you feel like it to direct a pulse of light to a specific area. But then there's also an option of a glide mode. So glide mode means that you don't have to keep pressing the button. So if you guys, like me, hate shaving, you're over waxing, epilation's not for you, and you don't really fancy going to a professional salon, paying big money repeatedly to have your IPL done, and you'd rather do it at home in the privacy of your own home with a podcast on and a cup of tea, Kenzie have been kind enough to give my followers a discount code, which is actually quite substantial. If you use the code SL1, it'll get you $50 off. $50 whole dollars. That is a decent saving. All right, guys, let's get back to the video. If you look through Dua's Instagram, and like actually pull out your phone and have a look at her Instagram so you can see what I mean, you might notice that she often poses to the side rather than front on when it comes to like full body shots. Dua has the kind of body shape where her waist will seem very small, very tiny from side on due to her stomach being super fit, really, really toned, and she's got great abdominal muscles. However, from front on, like a lot of women, myself included, her waist looks quite different. Now, when it comes to body types, there are 5 or 6 main body types. In my opinion, Dua Lipa's body would be most similar to the rectangle body shape. Similar to Hailey Bieber and Britney Spears, who obviously are also super beautiful, super successful, super gorgeous women. This body shape features a rib cage that is a similar size to the hips. This means that from front on, women with this particular body shape will never have the coveted Instagram Bugs Life body shape, where you have this super tiny, like 2-inch waist, big chest coconuts, and big hip ratio. Like, you'll never have an hourglass figure, put it that way, because your bone structure is not made to look like that. Your skeleton is not formed that way. You can see what I mean a little bit better as well from the pictures of Dua that were taken from behind. You can kind of see what I mean by like her skeletal shape. So even though Dua is like super toned, super fit, like the woman has a 6-pack, she will not have the body shape of, say, Emily Ratajkowski or Kendall Jenner or Alexis Ren, because her skeleton is different to theirs. It doesn't make her any more beautiful or any less beautiful than any other woman or influencer or celebrity. It's just different body shapes. I mean, women, we are purposely made to look different. It's cool. So anyway, Dua, in my opinion, is super aware of her body shape and her angles, and she will pose in such a way that she thinks makes her look best, which is fair enough, because let's be real, Dua Lipa is in the music industry, and the music industry is notorious for treating women not very well, and also for putting huge emphasis on what women physically look like, especially their bodies, even more so than their music a lot of the time. And as such, Dua will often angle herself or like pose her body or contort her body in certain ways that she knows will make her waist and her stomach look smaller and more petite. And personally, I don't really see a problem with that. I mean, if we're being real here, every person, every woman especially, wants to look nice in photographs. Like, they want to look at a photograph and think, I look really nice in that picture. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do think there's something wrong with like insanely editing yourself to look a certain way, but I feel like just knowing your angles and like posing yourself in a way that you think you look good, I don't personally really see a problem with that. However, with Dua, as you guys can see, when she's not angling her body and she's not posing and she's not contorting herself into like specific poses to look a certain way for the industry she's in and for Instagram, her body looks quite different. And for that matter, just like every other human being on the planet, when Dua is not sucking in or activating her core, her belly is also going to look different. So when she's relaxed or she's not posing or she has the nerve to breathe out or she's eaten a meal, her belly is going to look vastly different to how it looks when she's posing and sucking in. I mean, it's not just Dua, it's all of us. I know my belly looks totally different if I'm sucking in and kind of like twisting to the side and not breathing for the split second it takes to take a photo. Whereas if I'm like relaxing on my couch and I've just eaten dinner and I'm breathing out, my belly's gonna look totally different. Dua has the kind of body shape where she has really strong, well-built legs. These legs are shapely. They're not super long. I mean, she's not gonna look like Candace Swainpole or Kendall Jenner or Taylor Swift, for example, who all have totally different body shapes to Dua naturally. Rihanna, for example, is another performer who has a similar body shape to Dua, and she has really strong legs too. And like Shakira sings in, what's that damn song called? Wherever.
With all due respect, shut the hell up.
That one, strong legs are cool. And like over 99% of women on the face of the earth, Dua Lipa has cellulite.
Yes, queen, yes, queen, yes, queen.
Despite the fact that she is super toned, super fit, has great muscle tone, has a 6-pack, she still has cellulite. And that is like a point that I keep reiterating in my videos because people still comment under my videos saying how ashamed they are to have cellulite or asking me how they can get rid of cellulite. And it's like, girl, you can't. You could be the fittest bloody woman on the planet. You could be on the most restrictive diet and you will still have cellulite. cellulite. It's actually a super intelligent design by the female human body. It is your body putting aside energy in the form of fat cells in case of something like famine, or if you need at any time to draw upon that extra energy if you don't have like a fuel source coming in, because human beings are still the same as we were 100,000 years ago when things like famine or disaster were commonplace. And female bodies, because we have the ability to like grow new life and get pregnant and all that jazz, cellulite is actually a really intelligent design by us to store energy. It's not a flaw. It's not something to be embarrassed about. It's actually amazing. And can we take a moment to appreciate Dua's hip dips? Like cellulite, hip dips are a bodily feature that a lot of females have depending on how your bone structure is set up. So depending on your hip to leg bone ratio will kind of depend on whether you have hip dips or not. For some reason, in recent years, hip dips have become a thing. Like, I'm pretty sure they didn't even have a name before. Nowadays, if you type into Google or YouTube, how do I get rid of my hip dips? You will actually have results, which is crazy. It's like, why would you want to get rid of hip dips? I mean, you can't. It's like your bone structure. Okay, guys, moving on to Kendall Jenner. She is the kind of female that I know so many women think of as being like some kind of like superhuman beauty, like the epitome of current body goals. So you know how at the start of the video we were talking about Dua Lipa and her body shape? Well, Kendall Jenner would be more similar to a petite pear. Now let me explain what a petite pear is. It is the pear body shape, but it's not exactly the pear body shape before I get the comments like, Kendall is not a pear. So there are a few variations of like every body shape. So when it comes to a pear, I would also consider myself to be a pear body shape, and yet I'm also petite. So for example, I am a very small, scrawny, petite person, but I'm much bigger on the bottom than I am on the top. Kendall Jenner's body shape would also be totally different to mine, but similar in the aspect that she is smaller on top than she is on the bottom. And that's easier to see in her older pictures before she became super, supermodel slim. So you can have the ultra curvy pear shape, which would be similar to like Ashley Graham, or you can be a petite pear. Now, there's no denying that Kendall Jenner does have a small waist. I feel like that is what so many people kind of like revere her for these days, is the size of her waist. And yes, I'm not going to argue with you. She does have a small waist due to her skeletal structure. So like I said, she is smaller on the top than she is on the bottom. So her ribcage is actually really narrow. She's also really tall, and she has a super long torso, and she's bigger in the hip area than she is on the top. And she is very, 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 very slim. So because of all that, she does naturally have a small waist. However, Kendall's waist in real life isn't quite as small as what she portrays on Instagram, which, I mean, it's not just Kendall, it's basically every influencer you see. Just like Dua, Kendall also knows how to pose and how to contort her body and how to angle herself to look smaller and more Bratz doll-esque than what she does in real life when she's not posing. On Instagram, for some strange reason, it seems to me as though Kendall tries to portray that she has like a very, very slim hourglass figure, kind of like Kylie and Kim, which isn't surprising. I mean, she's cut from the same cloth as them. They're all part of the Kardashian Jenner clan, which, I mean, is problematic in itself. But in real life, Kendall is not quite as curvy as she makes out on Instagram. On Instagram, she makes out as though she is very, very slim, but she's also an hourglass. And not to mention, Kendall has been caught out for allegedly using a body slimming filter app on her videos to make her waist look smaller and thinner and teeny tinier than it actually is in reality. One thing to note is that Kendall is not the only one that's been caught out for allegedly using such an app. Her sister Chloe has also been allegedly caught out for using the same body slimming video app, and Kim as well. So it wouldn't be surprising if Kendall was as well. One thing I also think is important to note here is that Kendall also has cellulite. So I know I went into a big spiel about cellulite at the start of this video when talking about Dua, but here is a totally different body shape to Dua. Like, Kendall and Dua do not have the same body shape. Kendall does not have the muscle tone of Dua, and yet Kendall still has cellulite. And so I hope that just proves my point that like Kendall's body is super intelligent and is storing away bits of energy in the form of fat cells in case she ever needs to rely upon that for whatever reason at some point in her life. It is an intelligent design, and we need to stop looking at cellulite as being a flaw, because it ain't. And then there is, of course, the infamous pictures from the Skims commercial, I think it was from, where Kendall appears in this red swimsuit looking like a real life Barbie doll with impossibly long torso. Like, yes, Kendall does have a long torso in real life, but come on. This picture just seems so so odd to me. In this picture, she also has legs that literally look like they were molded out of plastic. Like, legs in real life don't look like that. Kendall's legs in real life don't look like this. So of course, people immediately went online to call Kendall out for photoshopping or face tuning these images, which is fair enough, because if you look at video footage from the exact same photo shoot, she looks a little different to the pictures. There were also rumors that Kendall had video footage from the commercial filtered too, using a body slimming filter. And to be fair, if you look really closely at this bit of footage, you can see that the area of curtain next to her belly seems to glitch at a certain point and disappear as Kendall is moving. In my experience, curtain folds don't usually just disappear because you moved position a little bit. It does seem a little suspicious. People were up in arms after the Skims commercial and these images were released, with some women seeing the images and immediately feeling shitter about themselves and feeling their self-confidence drop because why can't they look like that? But then you had other women taking to Twitter and imparting a bit of tough love on their fellow sisters and saying, what you're seeing online right now, this isn't real. This isn't what Kendall actually looks like in real life. Nobody does. So it's really easy to look at someone like Kendall Jenner and wonder why someone who is already so slim, so tall, already has a great body, why she would feel the need to allegedly use video body slimming filter apps or edit her pictures or go to great lengths to try and portray her body in a certain way. It kind of makes more sense when you see articles like this pop up, where here is Kendall, I think she was at the Dolce & Gabbana catwalk fashion show thing. She's walking down the catwalk, the runway anyway, and yet the articles that came out afterwards were allegedly calling her too fat for the runway. It's like, this woman, like, she has no weight to lose. Like, I would be seriously concerned if the Kendall of these pictures was to feel the need to lose weight. It does make you realize that influencers and even celebrities who have such a status as Kendall Jenner, it makes you realize that they are victims of these unrealistic, ridiculous beauty body standards as anybody else. And yes, she may be a perpetrator of it, but she is also a victim of it. And it's just sad. I feel like we need to, as women, all band together, including these celebrities and influencers, to just end the bullshit. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave this video here. I love your guts, and I will see you in my next video.